Okay, now let me tell you about another candidate. So I'm now beginning to focus on a couple of candidates that you could call earthquake candidates that would create an earthquake if they won. Okay, so Allison Hartson, if she beats Feinstein, that's shock, earthquake. It would change the landscape of progressive politics. Another one is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So she's running in Queens and Bronx in New York, and she's running against Joe Crowley in the Democratic primary. Okay, also just Democrat, also no corporate PAC money, and has signed on to the progressive platform. She didn't.
Joe Crowley, has he even lived in that district? Does he even?
No, he lives in Virginia. So look, and Alexandria focus on that a decent amount. Those are, of course, the links for her. I've never thought, I'm keeping it 100% real here. I've never thought that that's like a particularly great political strategy to focus on that. They don't live here. But in this case, it might, because Joe Crowley was basically appointed rather than elected. I don't know if you know the history of how Crowley got into that seat. There was an incumbent there, and then at the last second, he stepped down and said, I want Crowley to be my guy. And so it was like right before the election. And so they threw him in and he won, okay? Because it's a heavily Democratic district. And since then, there's been almost no primaries of him. So it's just, and it's just so heavily Democratic, he just walks in every time. And now he's become like very powerful in that part of New York in terms of politics. Although he doesn't live there, to answer your question. He lives in Virginia with his family. And I get it, they're congressmen, they gotta go to Washington a lot, et cetera. But it doesn't, it matters for some people. Anyway, and that district is heavily Latino and minority. And I think part of the point is that Crowley's kind of lost touch with who's in that district and hardly shows up. That's at least the point that Ocasio-Cortez makes. And Crowley's also very powerful in the House.
He's thought of as somebody who may, win a leadership position should Pelosi and Clyburn and Hoyer step aside. That he would be one of the people that would get a leadership position.
Yeah, I think I've heard people refer to him as the fourth most powerful Democrat in the House.
Yeah,
he might go for Speaker of the House. And part of the reason people talk about him that way is the reason why you're going to want to support Alexandria. He raises a ton of money from Wall Street. And so forget the racial demographics of the district, et cetera. Losing sight of that district, there aren't a lot of bankers in that district, okay? Not a lot of Goldman Sachs employees living in that part of Queens and Bronx, okay? So it's not like he can say, well, I mean, what am I gonna do? I represent Wall Street, you know what I'm saying, right? No, he doesn't. He represents Queens and Bronx, which doesn't have anything to do with Wall Street. But he raises a ton of money from Wall Street, which has an upside, which he spreads it to a lot of the other Democrats, and that's why they like Crowley. That's when Nancy Pelosi's asked why should you be leader, she's like, duh, I raise the most amount of money. So I give that to the other Democrats, and that helps them. So in her own way, she thinks that makes all the sense in the world. So Crowley raises a lot of money, and he never has to run in a primary. Now the thing is, primaries in a district like that sometimes only 10,000 people vote. Or 10,000 is, I think, enough to win the race. That is so few amount of people. For like these people-powered campaigns, like she's gonna go try to get 10,000 petitions signed. Because New York is one of the most pro-establishment states. They make it super hard to vote in the primaries. They make it super hard to get on the ballot. So she's got a tight window. She can't do the petitions before the window. She can't do the petitions after the window. And then Crowley, whenever anybody runs against them, challenges it legally because it gums up their works and it wastes their precious money. Because Crowley has a ton of money. His opponent has almost no money usually. And so he sues and goes, I challenge your petition signatures. Oh, there goes all your campaign money. Fighting that legal challenge, okay? So, but if she gets 10,000 signatures, that means she's probably gonna win. That's, so it's not as simple as that, but kinda. So there's really not that many people vote in primaries. That's why the energy makes a huge, huge difference. So in her case, I I think probably the donation link is ocasio2018.com/fight, but go to her website or volunteer, because she needs people to go out there with those ocasio2018.com/volunteer, for example, to get those people to go out there and get the signatures from people who actually live in that district. So deeply progressive, but go check out our website, see if you agree with her policies and her positions. And if she won, earthquake.